Welcome back, everybody.
I had the cork pop.
Oh, we're
I'm
getting
a I'm,
fancy
I'm a
today.
sophisticated drinker tonight.
Mm.
No more beer in the house, but
Well,
you,
welcome back, everybody, to Drux. I'm Torrin. He's Austin. Crack a beer and join us, or if you're feeling fancy, bottle
or
of wine.
a nice Chianti from Castello de
Ooh.
Mileto in the Tuscan countryside of Italy. Shout out Bellardo Wedding.
Oh man, still got the leftovers going.
They're not leftovers. We just keep purchasing from Total Wine.
Oh, I was gonna say they got a lot of extra wine there.
We shipped home like $300 worth of wine, which ended up being like 12 bottles or something like that. But now
Mm.
they just have the exact same bottles at Total Wine for like $17.
They know
Oh,
they know their clientele.
they knew. They knew.
That's good.
All right. Well, cheers.
Yeah.
Champions League is back. Premier League is heating up, closing in on the final stages of the season, and same thing with the Champions League. It's exciting times.
hmm Yeah. Great time to be watching soccer.
I am pulling up the sheet here. So
Okay.
we have a few red cards. We have a few opening drinks to get the show started to
Oh
start
yeah,
off on
we do.
a nice level. So why don't you list off the amount of drinks here and I'll prepare myself.
Wow. Well, Mr. Austin Whitty, across from me on screen, has gone and had the Pick'em League of the Year, 250 points in the
Me
Pick'em League.
meaning what?
That
Meaning
means
I got 5 picks exactly correct on the score.
five exact right,
I had
and
been
then one
bitching
with the right
this
result.
whole season about how dumb this is, about how I kept getting the game result correct, but I never ever got an exact, and so I was always in the back, even though I was picking the games correctly. And I was so mad. I was like, "This is dumb. This is stupid." And then I finally hit it this week. I didn't hit it with one, not two, not three, five, five.
Crack the code, baby. Great job.
Redemption,
Well, I,
redemption.
I will drink to you. I was in lowly fifth place with less than half of your score. So I'm very impressed. I hope to emulate you one day and
Thank
finally
you.
get more than three picks right in a week. uh, Moving on to fantasy, you also had a very strong showing in fantasy this week. You took home a second place, which I think was
Nice.
good for a tough week with a lot of injuries, players out. I was also once again in fifth place there, so I'll take another drink.
Yeah, I didn't roster a full squad, that's for sure. I had some injuries, but
Yeah, I think everyone was struggling. And then on our prop bets, we both lost this week, so one more drink to be shared.
I'm with you.
And then, as you mentioned, there were a few red cards. So we didn't have any in the Premier League, but we did have two in the Champions League, which we will get into shortly. But we had a red card in the Milan-Napoli game and in the Chelsea-Madrid game. So two more drinks.
All right, I'll take my two. As you take your two. So before we jump into Champions League review, throughout the show, we have a couple of drinking rules. Only a few really come into play, but the big keys to remember out there: any American referenced player, manager, anything, you have to take a drink. That includes any MLS mentioned. Shout out probably won't appear on this show. But those are the big ones. Any technical difficulties, got a drink. And I'm actually gonna assign myself a drink for last week's technical difficulties, which were pretty bad. The
Mm.
audio was a tad off, to say the least. So I'm gonna take a drink for that one. Hopefully that we've fixed all the problems and we're in the
Yeah.
clear here. Also, if there is some drinking, so any burps on the mic, Torrin just dodged one as we speak.
Woo. Yep.
That is a penalty drink as well. So let's knock those out, get those out of the way, and then let's talk about Champions League.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so we had the quarterfinal matchups this week, the first leg of two. The next set of games 1 week from now. So the first game on the slate to talk through from Tuesday was Benfica hosting Inter. Uh, your thoughts on this game?
I think these are the two weakest teams in the tournament remaining. And honestly, Inter won 2-0 away, but I could see them going home and losing 2-0. It's not like they were far and away the better team. I think they'll probably be stable enough to not let a 2-0 defeat happen at home. So I don't really see that happening. If I were to bet, I would bet on Inter to win going home, no doubt. But I'm just saying there's a possibility Benfica is good enough to fight still. But
Yeah.
odds on Inter's gonna be the one going through.
Yeah, I tend to agree with focusing in on just this game. I think your analysis of them being the two weakest is correct as well. Inter won 2-0, but they had stretches of the game where they were conceding possession, I think, pretty significantly to Benfica. Benfica has talent and skill. I would definitely not be coasting if I was Inter going back for the home stretch here, the home leg. But to come away with a 2-0 result in the first leg on the road is a huge win for Inter.
Oh,
There's times where they can't seem to string it together, put it together. But they kind of had the key people step up in this game. So great result for them, and a game that easily I could have seen ending 1-1, 0-0, 2-1 Benfica, right? All those results could have happened in this game.
Benfica
So
had their
they got to be happy.
chances. They had their chances. They could have scored a couple of times. I
Yeah.
think the penalty kick for Inter, while it was correctly called by the letter of the law, kind of a bummer. The defender jumps up to block a cross. It hits off his head and then hits his hand. So it's a tough one. But
Yeah.
it is a handball. I get it. It's a tough pill to swallow. And Lukaku finished it. I am so that's another thing. I feel so much joy to see Lukaku succeed after the World
Yeah.
Cup performance. I felt so
Hmm.
bad for him. Anything positive that happens to him just makes me happy. So it
Makes you
was cool to
smile.
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was definitely joyous to see him celebrate that. So yeah, it's definitely a game still to watch. This isn't over. Obviously, they've gotten an advantage, but still a game I'm going to be just as excited to watch in the second leg. I think there's still going to be a lot of fireworks in this one, especially if it gets down into that second half of the second leg and Benfica is still down one or two. We're going to see some pretty wild fireworks. It's going to be fun to watch. So still a game worth watching, even with a 2-0 lead.
definitely. Okay, the next game, which I think we should have led with, I think we buried the lead a little bit because this game was insane. I'm, of course, talking about Man City hosting Bayern. We just talked about the two worst teams. These are easily the two best teams in the tournament, in my opinion. I think you agree. And it showed. The quality of play in this game was at a level that I rarely see. I can't even think of another game
Mm-hmm.
that was this high level. Everyone on the field was just so talented, so comfortable on the ball, and I was really locked into this because I didn't have any meetings and I was really watching this game because it was so
Oh, you got to
captivating.
watch it live. All right.
But it was horrible weather. Horrible weather. It was
Mm-hmm.
raining. It was really windy, and yet everybody played like it was perfect weather. Like it was just crazy to see the control, the passing, the skill, and the competitive intensity was there as well. It
Mm-hmm.
was just really fun to watch. Really fun to watch.
Yeah, really, good game back for a 3-0 game. It didn't. There was there was plenty of life to the game, right? In both directions, I would say. I echo what you said about just the overall skill level of the game. It's such a high level that players that you traditionally tend to think of as good start when players like that start to be shown as like, oh, they're like the weak part of the team. It's pretty eye-opening and mind-boggling to watch. So
I want to hear
the
names.
one
Who are you
person,
talking about?
Upamecano, was outclassed.
He
I
had a
don't know if
tough
you
one.
watched
He had a
later in that
tough
game.
game.
He got tired, making mental errors. He's an international starter for his country, and he was the worst person on the field this game. It's crazy.
Delight had
Um,
some moments too. I think.
yeah,
I think it's. Let's be. Man City coming at you is tough to deal with, and Haaland is the best forward in the world. A lot of center backs are going to have problems, and yeah, you're right.
yeah,
He didn't have a great day. I've seen him
hmm
play some amazing games. I
yeah,
don't think he's a bad player, but you're right. He definitely was a chink in the armor in this game.
yeah,
On the flip side of
yeah,
that, though,
exactly.
I was really surprised. I thought Ake and Akanji both played fantastic.
Oh, great.
They were huge. They were huge, and
Yeah,
they completely shut out Sane and Coman like nearly the entire game. It's hard. You can't do it
yeah,
100% of the game, but they were fantastic, and I was really impressed
hmm
by both of them. So it was
yeah.
cool.
Quick recovery. They played like champions. Like that's how you expect a dominant championship level team to play. They actually came with it today. From front to back, like you said, the defense looks solid. The midfield, as always, Haaland up top. It's so intimidating to play against. I was surprised by the stat. Well, I already gave it away, but Bayern actually had more possession than Man City, which is a rare thing to see. They had 56%. It was close to 50-50. But anytime that Man City is getting beat, even if it's by 1% in possession, it's definitely a surprise to see. So I think Bayern came with some tactics, trying to maybe switch things up from how people traditionally play against Man City. It made for a really exciting game. Obviously, to end up with a 3-0 scoreline hurts a lot. Obviously, going back and having little chance against a team like that, but obviously they did something different here. I can't quite pin exactly what it is, but they were able to outpossess them and come at them from a different angle that at times they seemed close to creating good chances. Sane got free so many times for shots against his old team. He wanted to score so
He
bad
did.
against his old team.
And that's
Uh,
sorry I cut you there, but I was just gonna
that's all
say,
good.
yeah, it was cool to see Sane. I wasn't sure if he was gonna start, but I think the revenge factor made him a guarantee for the lineup.
Yeah. Yeah, great game though.
Another thing. One last thing on that game. So I haven't been
Uh,
watching Bundesliga or following. This is the first time I've seen a Tuchel-led Bayern team. It was interesting to me to see the lineup because we talked about Sane being like, okay, revenge factor. But he put Gnabry in like the 9 spot, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if they've been doing this in the Bundesliga or not. I don't know
mhm.
what the story behind that is. He wasn't a real factor in the game. He actually was the problem in the goal. Was it him or was it Musiala? I can't remember. But somebody dropped off of Rodri in the first half. And Rodri, what a shot. That shot was insane with his left foot.
Mhm.
But Gnabry was guarding him and just decided, oh, I'm going to go back up top now, and just left him. And he turned and shot it. Outside of that, that first half was really tight. Could have gone either way. It didn't feel like a 3-0 game. And then it got kind of out of hand in the last
Mhm.
20 minutes. They scored back-to-back, boom, boom, and it was like, but that's what Man City can do to you. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, I
crazy.
just looked. Yeah, so they actually did roll out that same more or less lineup in their last Bundesliga game with
They did.
Gnabry up top as a solo 9. So yeah, maybe a direction he's wanting to go. Uh,
And then
The old Havertz approach.
oh man. Well, I thought
uh,
Kingsley Coman was kind of a non-factor in this game, and he was subbed
mhm.
out for Mane. I obviously love Mane and would have started him, but I don't know if it would have changed the game that much. That's all I'll
Yeah,
say.
yeah, probably not in this one. All right, so two games down, two to go. So yesterday we had the second half of the matches. First one on the list here was Real Madrid hosting Chelsea. Graham Potterless Chelsea,
Mm-hmm.
and Real Madrid with the 2-0 victory. Your thoughts on this game?
No Potter, same problems. They just they don't have enough offensive firepower as far as finishing goes. João Felix is a nice player. He's not a good finisher. He's not. He'll get close and he'll kick some weak ass shot straight at the goalie. Sterling is probably their best finisher up top, which is scary because he misses a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But he at
Mm-hmm.
least creates. They're kind of playing the exact same way, and I don't understand. I feel like I obviously love Mudryk. I think he's electric and dynamic, but he never seems to find the field these days.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have like João Felix and Sterling up top by themselves, and then you have Conte, Kovacic. I think Fernandez is like the closest thing to a central attacking midfielder, and he's not even that. That's not his normal position.
No, that's how he
But
plays. Yeah,
I just think this team is just off. Everything about it is
yeah,
off. I think Chilwell is mediocre. You talk about like weak links. Chilwell, he's playing too far forward, and he's not. I don't think he's that good that far forward. Like he's great when he's a defender coming forward and helping out, sending in crosses, but he
mm-hmm.
struggles to finish. Like there's a ton of guys that just they need
Yeah,
finishers and they don't have them.
yeah. I felt like I get there. That's a general problem they have, right? And something with all the money they spent, a problem that they didn't fix, they didn't solve. But they have so many other of these players, these midfield wingers, creative players, and I would have liked to see different players come in. You look at the players they subbed in this game. So obviously they subbed in Chalobah, I think, when Chilwell went out with his red card defensively. But you sub in Mount and Gallagher and Havertz and Cucurella as your subs. When you
Cucurella
have
was an
people like
injury though. Cucurella was
the
an injury.
yeah,
Koulibaly got injured,
Koulibaly, that was
and
it.
then it was
Mhm.
actually Cucurella's fault on that goal. It wasn't Chilwell. Chilwell
Yeah,
got the red card, but
yeah,
Cucurella
but Cucurella let him
was
run right past him.
was
Yeah,
out of position, and
he doesn't play center back. He
he
shouldn't play center back.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it was kind of a bummer. I'm not gonna like hammer him about it. He was out of position because of the injury,
yeah,
and he
yeah,
was out of position on that play, and to put Chilwell in a bad spot where he just tried to slow him down.
yeah.
Got the red card, kind of shitty. Like, yeah,
You mentioned this before about Lampard's tendencies at times. So but taking the injuries and the red card out of away from that, you bring in Mount and Gallagher and Havertz when you have people like Pulisic, Mudryk, and Ziyech on the bench. It's like if you want to try and get back into game, you have three guys right there that are going to be creative, that are going to run at defenders, that are going to get other people involved, come from a
exactly.
new angle. So I just even with obviously the issue with the red card and injuries, I still thought there were options there that they could have changed the dynamic of the game up,
Exactly.
and brought some from a different angle. So I hope Lampard tries to experiment more. I was hopeful last week when we talked that he would try more experimentative lineups. So I really hope he does. He has the players on the bench to do it. He just got to do it.
And we haven't even mentioned Real Madrid because
Yeah.
Real Madrid is a well-oiled machine, and they are stacked from top to bottom. It's going to be tough to beat them. So I understand
Hmm.
starting with a solid solid lineup, which Lampard did, I'm okay with that. But like you said, once you go down 1-0, 2-0, granted there was a red card, so it makes it a little tougher, so okay. But don't bring in those guys. Bring in the guys you just mentioned. Bring in the dynamic players that can actually create something, even if you are down a man. Like you got to give them that shot. It's just, it's the same. It's the same thing that Potter was doing. And what do you know? The same results. They didn't score. They lost 2-0. Granted, they were the underdog, but it's not looking good for Chelsea. Not looking good. I will say, bright spot for Chelsea, I like Fofana. I like the way he plays. He's really competitive. I think he's talented. I think Fernandes is a stud.
I think Fofana, I agree. I think he's a talent for sure. I think he's still a little error prone at times.
Oh, for sure.
He's gonna have those times when he might leave you a little open at the back, but when you have somebody like Thiago Silva backing him up, that's okay. Yeah. He's going to be an asset to the team. He's going to free up somebody like Reece James to get further down the field, right, and do sort of creative wing play, on the right side there. So I think, I agree. I think he's great talent, great for the future. They just have some other areas on the field that they got to sort out.
Yeah, I just think I like his competitiveness. I feel like he brings it every time. He comes to play.
Not backing down.
Like that. Yeah, I like that. And then Real Madrid. I mean, unfortunately, both these ties I think are done. I think it's a shoo-in for Real Madrid and Man City to face each other, which is going to be an exciting showdown. Think about that. Man City's going to go through Bayern, and then they got to go through Real Madrid just to make it to the final. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh man, who did this draw?
Some Italian did it easily. It was probably you. The other bracket.
So speaking of Italians, our last match of the day.
Cheers to that segue.
Oh yeah. Fourth match of the quarterfinals. We had Milan hosting Napoli for the Southern Italian Civil War. And Milan took home the victory 1-0.
Wait, I just want to ask you, as the Italian correspondent on this show, who were you rooting for in this?
Oh, it's interesting. So I think I tried as best as I could to be neutral. I think deep down I was rooting for AC Milan because in this season, I'm just the type that tends to root for the underdog. And historically and traditionally, even through last season, Napoli would have been the underdog here. But this season, it's different. And Napoli, is the favorite now. So I think I just, naturally I wanted to root for the underdog in this, which is funny because every other season until now, it would have been the opposite, right?
That's funny.
But I think I found myself celebrating the, Milan scoring. Like I was rooting for him.
See,
so,
I would have
really
guessed Milan, but for the wrong reasons. I would have guessed that just roots run deep with you with AC Milan, and that's why you would go with them.
I mean, whether or not that's true, I think I try my best in my capacity as a neutral observer to not hold biases. But you're probably right. Let's be real.
And Blake, our other Italian correspondent, he was for sure rooting for Napoli. He for sure was. I don't know why. I didn't talk to him about it, but he was like, man, AC Milan scored, but Napoli was the one really like running the show or whatever he said.
You know why? His
Why?
boy Ndombele is on Napoli.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know why he loves him more than anybody else.
Oh, I know. He doesn't care.
Yeah, but he's right. Napoli, the first 20, maybe 30 minutes came out on fire, but they just couldn't score. But they were definitely running the show. And then after that, I feel like it was more balanced.
Yeah, there were definitely, and I felt like there were times where AC was kind of dominating.
There there
I've been
were.
wanting to talk to you. There was this play, I forget if it was first or second half, but I think it was first half, where Liao picked up the ball like 10 feet into his own half, miscontrolled it, and still outran like three dudes on Napoli to get a fast breakaway and almost score a goal. I don't know if you saw that one,
Yeah, I
but
saw it. I saw it. I watched it a couple times because they showed it. I
he,
watched the game and then saw it on the highlights because I wasn't able to watch like the last 10 minutes of the match, so I went back and
yeah,
watched the highlights. And they showed that, and yeah, he miscontrolled it, but it like bounced off his knee. But he's
yeah,
just so strong and fast that he just
yeah,
beat two guys. Even still, I was just like, oh
yeah,
my god, he is so explosive. It's awesome.
yeah,
He is so fun to watch. Every time I see
yeah.
him, I'm
So
like, this guy didn't start for Portugal in the World Cup.
I know that's what I was.
I
I
was
was
like,
watching
what
it
the
with my
fuck? Like,
family.
I don't care if he makes mistakes or he doesn't like play within the team as much as you want him to. This guy needs to be on the field. Like this
I
is the
know,
difference between like him and João Felix. Like,
straight up.
why is João Felix a shoe-in for the starting spot and Leao comes in for 15 minutes at the end of the game? I
I
don't
don't get
know.
it.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
It's
I
like
literally said the same thing. I said the same thing. I was like, this guy is so good, and he doesn't even start for his national team. What? He didn't start in the World Cup.
that is so
What
wrong.
is
I
going
feel like
on?
there's just so I don't understand coaches sometimes. I think coaches overthink it at times when the eye test should show you this guy is so much better than this guy. Like he jumps out at moments at times. He does things that all other players can't do. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like
Yeah, he reminds me. He's the closest player to Balotelli in his prime that we've seen. I feel like since him, he's the type of guy that can do that shit that like nobody else can sort of do in the world at that time. You know,
you
like
know
he's
I love
so
a good
athletic.
Balotelli shout out.
Oh, you know. But I mean, that's the type of. I mean, that's how it was with Balotelli. Like whether or not people liked him or not, you had to play him. He had to be out there. You know, and that's how it feels like with him. Maybe there's reasons why he's not starting, but he's got to be out there. He's
Yeah.
so good.
That's a good analogy, but I don't think Liao is as disruptive as Balotelli
Oh,
was.
oh, straight up.
You
Yeah,
know, like
100%.
Balotelli had reasons to be benched. Like Liao, I
Exactly.
feel like
But it's still he wasn't. That's what I'm saying is like when the talent is so good, even no matter how bad the other stuff is, and we know it can't be half as bad as whatever Balotelli was,
right.
you still got to play him, you know? Like
Gotta
you
play
got to
him.
find a way to get him out there.
It it drove me nuts because we put money on Portugal, and I had to watch Liao on the bench.
Hmm.
It was just, and I will say this again: Simeone was right when they let João Felix walk. He kind of gave him a little, "Hey, he's not that fucking good," type of thing, in a more politically correct way. But he just doesn't score. He doesn't score as much as you think he should.
Yeah.
So
He would be prolific with a good, finisher next to him, but yeah, he's not. He can't be on his own as an island. He needs help.
correct. Okay, so those were all the matches on the first leg. Uh, are all of them? Are all of the matchups complete at this point? Do you think any team has a comeback chance?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Milan Napoli's still open.
That's probably the only one, huh? Inter Benfica?
Yeah, I mean that's the next closest one to being open, right? It's not nearly as open as Milan Napoli.
That was close. That was a close one.
I hit a solid 45-degree turn on that one. Come on. Uh, Fine, I'll drink.
That was only because
I
you were
think
talking while it happened, so your voice kind of modulated a little bit.
kind of Uh, Inter should buckle it up at home, but Benfica feels like the type of team that could find a way under that seatbelt
It,
and wiggle free. So
for sure. If Benfica scores in the first 30 minutes,
ooh,
ooh,
it's gonna be a great game.
game on. Like that's what needs to
Oh, this
happen.
Champions League is so good, man. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's a bummer that Man
Oh,
City and Bayern is 3-0
oh
because
my God, that
if
game
it
would
were
be wild.
if it were 2-0, I would say, hey, anyone's game going back to Germany, who fucking knows, you know?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
Bayern team is they're so similar. And that
That
first half,
stadium,
as we
yeah.
mentioned, was so tight. It could have gone either way. Both teams have the talent to score like that. So
Hmm.
I think 3-0 is just too tall of a hill to climb, which is kind of a bummer. I would love to see another competitive match with them. But you never know. And then Chelsea,
Yeah.
sorry, Real Madrid is better.
I mean, I would love to see it happen. It would be awesome to see it upset, right? But
This is the
I don't
time.
see
This is
it.
the time for Lampard. Be like, dude, just put
Yeah.
in.
Dude, the
This is what I want
craziest
to
lineup
see.
you can.
Yeah, this is what I
Yeah.
want to see. Chilwell gone. He had a red card anyway, so I don't think he can play.
Yeah.
So that might be a blessing in disguise for Lampard. But I want to see Mudryk out there. I want to see Ziyech on the other side. I want to keep Sterling because I think
Yeah.
Sterling is an excellent creator.
Yeah.
And if you want to leave João Felix in there, fine. But
Yeah. Put those four out
put
there.
those
Yeah.
four at the top. Keep Enzo in the middle. Keep Conte in like a defensive midfielder position.
Slide
And
over Reece James. Yeah.
and then Reece James, yeah. I just feel like they have pieces to do this. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They can do it.
Yeah.
So I want to see him just try a little bit.
Yeah. Good luck, Chelsea.
Yeah. All right. Champions League wrap up complete.
Yep.
Premier League check in. Let's go. That was match day 30. 8 games
Match day
left.
30 in the books. Yep.
So we have some key games you wanted to touch on. Newcastle Brentford. Talk to me about it. This was a big one.
Yeah. Did you catch this one?
I only caught highlights. I didn't get to watch
Okay.
this game. No.
Just obviously, kind of big implications for the top end of the table. Where's Brentford? Brentford's dropped off a little to ninth, but still flirting. They're only 4 points behind Aston Villa in sixth. So
Mhm.
with Newcastle, as we talked about last week, had slipped into third place on goal difference over Man United. So it was a really big game for the top part of the table, and I thought it was an awesome game to watch. Super high level, super exciting, intense. In the first half, Ivan Toney had two. What was it? He had one goal that he thought for sure he had scored, called off. Then he took a penalty and got saved, which I think has one of the best penalty records in the league. They got a second penalty and he scored it in injury time of the first half. So he felt like he scored 3 goals, only got one out of it. They go into the second half and Newcastle puts a huge comeback on him, ends up winning 2-1 with an excellent goal from Isak, who I love. Got him on my fantasy team. I think he's
Same. I got him on mine
fantastic.
too. I
Oh,
picked
for
him up.
sure. Yeah, just one of those shots, like it was like a through ball back to him, like a cut back pass from the wing towards the top of the box. One of those shots that you come onto and 9 out of 10 players, even the Premier League, just like sky the ball like 20 feet over the goal. Like even the best players in the world, you see do this, and he just curls it perfectly in the top corner. So they score that one to take the lead and end up winning the game 2-1. So I thought it showed a lot of character for Newcastle. We talked about them last week with our tip or our needs to win this season to be successful. Keep the pressure on was what I had said, and they did exactly that. They were
Mhm.
relentless on Brentford, even when going down 1-0. They didn't change it up. They kept the pressure on, and eventually they broke through. And when they broke through, the second one was right behind it. They scored 2 goals in less than 10 minutes. So they did exactly what they need to do. They now have, where are they at? They've now won the last 5 games. I don't know if they've
Mm-hmm.
won more than 5 in a row, but they're
Look
basically
out
matching
now.
Man City stride for stride, trying their best to gain ground on Man U. They're still struggling to do that, but I think another statement game from Newcastle.
Yeah, I love this Newcastle team. I think they have a lot of fight in them. I think the team chemistry looks good on the field. They clearly have confidence that they can go out and win
Mm-hmm.
these games, even if things don't go well at the beginning. I like this squad a lot, and it's it's cool to see because Newcastle hasn't been a top tier team these last few years, and now to see them back up there is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. So
sorry,
you
go
got the
ahead.
next
Go ahead.
one. Yeah, the next game we had. So West Ham played Fulham. So Fulham, we talked about, it's been kind of dropping down the table slowly but surely, and West Ham's just been in dire situation hovering near the bottom of the table. And they pulled out a huge win for them, 1-0 over Fulham. That actually was enough to bring them all the way up into 14th place. Believe it or not, I think they were in the relegation zone when we last talked. So I think that moved them up a minimum of 4 spots. This one win.
If they weren't in it, they were tied on
They might have
points
been
at
tied
least.
for
Yeah.
18th or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, one win like that can really be a really significant moment. So I thought it was pretty significant for the relegation battle. Fulham better start getting it together. They've now lost 4 in a row.
It makes me
They're
so
only
sad.
nine. They're only 9 points up on 15th place.
I know they.
It's pretty
We
crazy.
talked about it last week. Not having Mitrovic and not having Willian hurt them so much because they don't have the depth of these other teams, and
Mhm.
they are just in free fall right now. I don't think they're going to be relegated. I don't think it's that dire, but that ship has some holes in it, and they need to plug those holes fast. It's
Yeah,
worrisome. It's worrisome.
very, very worrisome.
That makes me sad. But yeah, big win for West Ham. They get out of the bottom,
Yep.
and look,
Well,
they're three. So there's the big group that is 33 points, or even 31 if you count Wolves and down. So 13 and down is 31 to 23 at the bottom. It's
yeah.
so tight. So yeah,
Yep.
a win by any of those teams makes a huge difference in the standings.
Mm-hmm.
So Wolves, we can talk about them. They're at the top of that list.
Yep.
They just beat Chelsea at home. What do you know? Chelsea don't score. They can't score. And goal of the season, quality goal by Matthias. What's his last name? Nunez? Is that what it is?
Nunez. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn. Fool's going to remember that one forever. He connected
was
with
a
that. We had a
banger.
couple of goal of the season qualifiers this week. He had one.
Yeah.
Son had a sick goal. It was good to see Son get back up there. Was it with his 100th? Was it that one? Did you see Son's goal?
Was that the 100th?
I don't know if it was. He might have already done that the previous week.
No, I did see it. It was a great goal. Yeah, he curled it into the
Who did
top
they play?
corner.
Brighton. Dude, that Tottenham Brighton game was sick. I know I'm jumping off the Wolves Chelsea, but that Tottenham Brighton game was really. Those teams were neck and neck. I feel like they were at the same level. Maybe they're not at the exact same spot in the standings, but they were going back and forth. That Son goal was sick.
Yeah.
There was one more too. Who else had an awesome goal this week? I can't remember. I made a note of it.
Allen
Didn't come
had
prepared.
that like sideways scissor kick.
Yes, that was a cool goal too. Yeah,
Yeah, that
there
was
were
a
a
big
lot of
one.
there were a lot of sick goals, but yeah, sorry. Back to Wolves Chelsea. Huge
Yeah,
win for
I mean,
Wolves,
just
and now they're up to 13th.
huge win for Wolves. They're at 13th. Chelsea, watch out below, down in the bottom half of the table, sitting at 11th. Actually, well, tied for 10th, behind Fulham on goal difference. Chelsea is sitting at a -2 goal differential.
It's embarrassing, dude. It's embarrassing.
So bad. So
And I feel
bad.
like I would love to be a fly on the wall in the locker room for some of these Chelsea matches.
Oh my god. I'm looking at all right the goal stats right now. Chelsea in 11th place only has 5 more goals than the lowest scoring teams in the Premier League. Chelsea, who spent what was it, $350 million in the January transfer window,
More money
has
than
only
the other European leagues combined.
five. Only have they have 29 goals on the season. The worst teams in the Premier League: Wolves, Southampton, Nottingham, Everton, all tied with 24. They're only 5 ahead of that. It's crazy for the money they're spending. The money to goal ratio is just it's insane. It's probably never been worse
I
in the
think it's
history of the Premier League.
so. I don't really know how it works. Um, Maybe you know more than I do, but in the U.S. for U.S. sports, there's always a general manager who is in charge of acquiring players. The coach obviously coached
Mm-hmm.
them. Maybe they work together on who they like, yada yada. But the general manager is the person who acquires the players. Is there an exact person like that for each team? Do they have a committee for each team? Um, is the coach in play for some of these decisions? I don't know. But
I think
who?
it's I feel like it's a lot sort of like baseball where it kind of depends and varies, to be honest. I think some of the teams, like I feel like teams like a Bayern or a Barcelona, I think those are really run by like boards of people, right? Like a board of presidents or vice presidents, right? They kind of make the decisions, run behind the scenes, da, da, da. But I know for a fact there's other teams, like I know like Tottenham as a team, for example, that really do have a single president running the team. I guess they're called a
Yeah, that
president
Tottenham
or
guy just got in
executive.
trouble.
Yeah, so I think it varies. I think it kind of depends on the team and the country. From what I've seen, I don't really know what the best way is. If you
Well,
have the
it's
wrong guy
not
and
what
he's got all the
Chelsea's
power,
doing. I'll tell you that.
yeah, whatever they do, it ain't working.
They're just spending money to spend money. I feel like they're getting a lot of the same positioned players. You know what I mean? They have so many good players on their bench that play the exact same position as the guys in the field, and yet they don't have a true striker. Aubameyang is like kind of back in the team, but
Yeah,
not starting. But they have so many of the same types of players. I just feel like they need to dump three attacking midfielders and just bring in one true striker, two
yeah,
true strikers. Like, this probably wouldn't happen because it's Chelsea, but why not get rid of a couple of guys? Whoever, Pulisic, set him free. Get rid of Mudryk. You don't even play him
Ziyech, yeah,
anyways. Ziyech, whoever. And then Ivan Toney would be a great addition to that team. Put him up top. You
yeah.
know? Why
He,
not?
he literally is. He's already in West London.
If you can't get Harry Kane
Have him walk down the street. Yeah,
or some other top tier guy that you want to get, why not Ivan Toney? He could do the job. Shoot,
yeah.
get Olivier Giroud.
Zaha,
Get Giroud.
get Zaha, get somebody.
Yeah, Zaha's not a true 9, but like I get your point. Yeah, like
He's
there's
gonna bring you more than what you got.
he
Like
certainly
get
will.
somebody.
You know
Yeah.
I'm a Zaha lover. He's on my favorite 11 bench. Like I fucking love Zaha. He's always on my fantasy team, even when he's hurt. Doesn't matter. I just gotta have him on my
It's
team.
still starting.
Oh
That's
man,
great.
yeah. I don't
All
know
right.
why. I love Zaha.
I do. I know. I love him too. Come back stronger and better, Zaha. All right. Last game of the weekend that we got to talk about. Absolute thriller between the league leaders, Arsenal, on the road at Liverpool, who have been struggling. They have been up and down. Arsenal starts out the game, scores early, comes out to a 2-0 lead by halftime. Second half, complete turnaround from Liverpool. They end up having the opportunity to tie the game with a penalty, miss the penalty, but still come back. I think in was it in the 90th minute? Was it in injury? It was close to injury time. I think, if not
87th
in
minute.
injury time. 87th minute, Roberto Firmino header to tie up the game, ends up with a draw 2-2, which obviously has potentially title implications, and obviously a morale win for Liverpool as well, to come back from being down 2-0. So what was your take on what you saw in that one?
Well, I was picking up Easter eggs during this match because we laid out a bunch of Easter eggs in the yard, and we were trying to get my son to be like, "Hey, put them in your basket, okay?" And he grabbed the first one, and it was like this big, like the size of a football almost. And he opened it up, and there were 2 toys inside. And then he just started playing with those 2 toys, and then forgot about what he was supposed to be doing. So I had to go and pick them all up. So I didn't get a chance to watch this match. I watched the highlights just before this. And from what I could see from the highlights, it looked like Arsenal came to play, which they always do, and Liverpool wasn't ready at the beginning. But then they got hit a couple of times, and then they came back and they showed that they're still a quality squad and they can win. They were at home. I think being at home helped them come back. And our boy Firmino came through at the end to tie it back up. That's the thing with Liverpool, is they have the quality still to be a top tier team. They just don't have the consistency. And it sucks to see Firmino like kind of on his way out, because I think they need a guy like him on the field at all times. And right now he's only coming in as a substitute. So yeah.
It does suck to know that he's leaving at the end of the season, but it was awesome to see him come in and have an impact here. One thing I did like, and I don't remember now if this is how they started the game or if this was more just in the second half, but it looked like Klopp took Alexander-Arnold and pushed him up the field a bit. So like instead of playing that like classic right back role where he just gets flamed on defense, they were like, let's swap to kind of like a 3 at a back with a drop Fabinho to cover in the middle, and then push Henderson over to the middle and bring Alexander-Arnold up into like a right mid role. And I mean, he ended up creating the winning goal. Like he seemed really good in that sort of more advanced role, where he could have more influence attacking players on the field. So I thought it was a good tactical move by him. Kind of exposed, a part of Arsenal which maybe doesn't get attacked as often as it should, because they usually are applying the pressure so much. So one of those games where it's like, you tell Arsenal, hey, are you cool getting a tie on the road at Anfield? They're probably going to say, yeah, that's a good game for us, right? Just in general.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'd be too disappointed. But obviously on Liverpool side, they've got to be juiced to come back from 2-0, walk out of there with a tie against the league leaders, potentially the champions. So I think one of those games where strangely both teams may feel like they walk away with their heads held high in a draw.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought match for sure. Coming out of that, I think the ramifications, Liverpool is still in play for Europa League. They're only, 3 points out of 6th. Okay. And Villa's ahead of them, so they should catch them. I think Liverpool is getting stronger. Villa's been playing out of their mind, so it's not like they're not getting stronger, but Liverpool is getting better than they were at the beginning of the season, no doubt about it. And then the other end of that is Arsenal with the draw. Man City gained some points on them, so they're only down 6 points with the game in hand. And they play each other, I think, in 3 weeks, I believe. End of April. They'll play each other, and that match is going to be massive. Oh my God. I just can't wait for that. That is going to be the game of the year. I cannot wait. Yeah. So.
Yeah, what is that? Mark your calendars now.
So yeah, I'm sure they're like, heads held high after the draw.
It's a Wednesday game.
What? Sheffield Wednesday?
Wednesday, April 26th at 12 p.m. We will be able to watch. It's going to be at noon. That's
Oh,
awesome.
fuck yeah. Okay. I'll block,
Man City
move some
hosting
meetings
Arsenal.
around. I'm going to move some meetings around and be like, oh, I'm taking a long lunch.
Gotta block that one out.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Sorry, boss.
Oh, okay. Let's go. Yeah, that'll be, oh man, that'll decide the season. That'll decide the season.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
be a great one. All right. Well, I think that was it. Any other Premier League games that you wanted to poke at?
No, I think we should keep an eye on the bottom three. So the bottom three at this point are Nottingham Forest, Leicester City still, and Southampton. So that'll probably change next week, you know? It changes that fast. Team America Leeds is 2 points out of relegation. So
Whew.
they gotta get it going. A big defeat from Crystal Palace. So not great.
With Zaha out too.
Not great.
Yeah, not boding well there.
Not out of my lineup. Okay, so yeah, we have a little bit of news here. Okay, so let me tell you about the first news because I think I told you about this, but so there was a little bit of back and forth on the field, but nothing egregious in that Man City Bayern match. But apparently, when after the loss in the locker room, Sadio Mane and Leroy Sane, that's kind of a tongue twister, they got into an altercation. Mane punched him. Leroy Sane gave him like a fat lip or whatever. And now Sadio Mane is suspended by the team for a match. Which is funny.
Gobert.
Exactly. It's exactly what happened to Rudy Gobert, Minnesota Timberwolves in the NBA. And I thought it was funny, but the thing that is the difference here that I thought was interesting is that the Rudy Gobert thing happened on the court in the huddle with everybody to see. This happened behind closed doors in the locker room, apparently. However, news got out. So I ask you, how did news get out? Who either leaked it or who told the media about this? Because, and what was their motivation? Because I feel like if there's an altercation in the locker room, that stays in the locker room. So I have a lot of questions that don't have answers.
Yeah. Maybe they've got some all or nothing film crew that's following their every move this season that I don't know about, but maybe. I don't know. It could be a lot of things, right? There could be, there could be Sane actually having a vendetta against Mane and wanting to make sure it was public. I mean, I don't really see the benefit of it as an organization though. So I feel like it's got to be either somebody out for personal gain, or it came from Sane or Mane themselves, right? That it actually came out.
Yeah. So I don't know why it happened. I don't have all the details, obviously. But that stuff happens, like guys get into it after a devastating loss. It happens. Yeah. It doesn't mean that there's problems long term. But the fact that it got out is it like gets my spidey senses tingling a little that like maybe there's something going on that's a little bit more than this. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this affects the team going forward and if maybe Sadio Mane leaves the team, something like that. I don't know, but interesting.
Yeah. All right, our second bit of news. There was a new manager installed at Leicester. We talked about how Brendan Rodgers was gone. Shout out to Austin's all-time favorite 11 list. Actually, no, that was Ranieri. I was thinking you had Rodgers on there. Never mind.
I do like Rodgers, though. I do like Rodgers.
Different Leicester City manager. However, he's out, and they brought in Dean Smith. And I was curious to know if you know who he brought in.
The UNC coach?
Yeah, exactly.
NCAA basketball legend? What are you talking about?
Oh, R.I.P. Dean Smith. He was the coach for Aston Villa for like 3 years, a couple years ago. I don't know if you remember him. Um,
Clearly not.
he brought with him though his assistant coach during that time at Aston Villa. Do you know who that assistant coach is?
Well, I didn't know he was coaching Aston Villa, so I have no idea who his assistant coach is. So
John Terry, assistant coach.
oh! No, 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 the captain of my least favorite team. Oh
Oh,
my
I had to throw that one in
god.
there.
Damn,
Yeah.
okay, now I do want them relegated. Oh my god, that douchebag.
Uh,
Somebody
yeah.
hired him? Gross.
Yep. Yep.
Gross. Oh my
Yeah. I
god.
just had to make sure you knew the news there. So I am curious to see how Leicester does with the coaching change. If they, they got some big games ahead of them to sort things out. But keep your eyes peeled during the highlights for a Mr. John Terry on the sidelines.
This is devastating news, Torn. Devastating news. I like
All
Leicester
right, so
City. I don't
I
want
know.
John Terry affiliated with them in any way.
Well, my like for Leicester City outweighs my hate for him
True.
in this particular case. I'm still
Agreed.
rooting for them to not be relegated uh, with the players they have. Speaking of, I was thinking about this the other day. I am ashamed of myself for my favorite 11, not including Jamie Vardy. I
Really?
cannot believe I
I
missed
didn't know
that.
you were a Jamie
Oh,
Vardy fan.
I love him. He's such a shithouser. He's such a shithouser. I love it.
Do we need to make a second team starting 11?
We might have to. We might have to go back and
I could make
do a
7
redo.
teams.
I know, do a redo in the future. We've got more starting 11s to do for sure. All right, so a few other things. I got a little bit of trivia for you, and then one other thing I wanted to show you. So I saw this list of the fines that Lampard imposes on his players as manager, and I was just curious to get your reaction from some of these. So he literally like prints out the sheet that's like all the different transgressions you can have and how much each fine is for those transgressions.
Okay.
So just to give you some of the transgressions, if you're late for the gym, £1,000 fine. If
Where does this money
you're
go?
late, he says it down. So he says all fines, or what does he say? All monies go towards team activities and charitable bodies, is what he says.
Okay.
If you're late for a meeting, it's £500 per minute that you're late.
Nice. I like that.
That's pretty steep. If you're late for the start of training, so like an official training, £20,000. Steep. Not reporting for a refusal to do a corporate or community duty, £5,000. Late for a medical appointment, $2,500. So in general, you get this the theme of it. So he's got this list of all these things. So I was curious to get your take on that type of coaching approach.
Hey, I'm
That
for it.
type of
I'm
fine.
for
You
it.
like it? Okay.
This wouldn't work on his old team, but on Chelsea, where everyone's probably making like £200,000 a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, get those guys going. Why not? Why not? I'm okay with it. You know
Hit 'em
what?
where
They
it
have.
hurts.
That's the thing is like, if you are the highest level player, you're already doing all of these things. You know what I mean? You're at practice before and after. You're in the meeting rooms. Like, you are doing these things. So if you're not, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I don't think this would work everywhere, but I think this can work at Chelsea.
Yeah. What else did they say? Oh, also they don't say exactly what the fine is, but they say if you do not hit your body composition targets, there will be a fine for failure. I love it.
pretty good.
So
That's
good.
hilarious.
All right. So let me hit you with some trivia. So kind of a bit of a segue from you had talked a little bit about before we got into the show, wanting to do potentially a future segment about contracts
Mm-hmm.
and which contracts are worth it, which ones are not. So I have in front of me the list of the highest paid midfielders in the Premier League. And I am curious if you know which midfielder is the highest paid.
Ah, God damn it! You caught me before I did all my research, so
Yep.
I have no clue. Um, okay, I can figure this out.
So think,
So
you know,
it's got to be one of like four teams.
okay.
The best player is Kevin De Bruyne. Is he the highest paid player? Ugh, I don't know. Shit. I'm just gonna go with him. He's the best player on one of the most expensive teams. So I'm gonna go Kevin De Bruyne.
You're correct. You got it.
That's what it
Four
should
hundred
be.
thousand, 400,000 pounds per week.
A week. A week.
A week.
He could miss a meeting altogether and still make money. Damn.
Okay, so sorry, I'm looking down the list now. Okay, so who do you think is second? This is tough. I did not think this person would be second. He is a big name. He is on a big team. I don't think he's the second best midfielder in the league, though.
Casemiro?
No, he is on the list. Um, he's actually tied for third.
I was close. Third.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
With
eh,
300,000
is
pounds
it
per week.
is it Enzo Fernandez?
No.
No. I don't know. That's a two drinker for me.
Raheem Sterling is number two. 325,000 pounds per week.
I will hold back my feelings on that. Next question.
Okay, so I'll read the rest of the list for you. So tied with Casemiro at number three is Jack Grealish on 300,000 pounds a week.
Oof.
Number four, I was a bit surprised about this one, and I think it's very deserving, but I always just assumed he was being underpaid. Is N'Golo Kante at 290,000 pounds per week? I always
Oh.
thought he was the type of guy that was getting paid like the minimum wage for playing,
Well,
but
he
he's
probably
actually
was
getting
at the
paid.
beginning, but now Chelsea
He's getting,
Chelsea's always a good bet for a high paying
yeah,
contract.
a solid contract. Next, so that's what is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So six on the list is Bruno Fernandez at 240K a week. Then we have Phil Foden at 225. And then Rodri also on Man City at 220. And then the last of the top 10, we have Thomas Partey, and then surprise Thiago Alcantara on Liverpool, both at 200,000 pounds per week.
Fool doesn't play. Does
Exactly. So
not
it's funny
play.
to look. This is a perfect intro to this segment that we'll look at in the future, because you can look at a list like that. Half of the players deserve the money, are
Mm-hmm.
getting paid what they're worth. Half the players, no.
Yeah, maybe we'll cut up that
So
Missy Elliott song. Is it worth it? Let me work it.
let me work it.
Yeah, that Tiago contract, ugh, that hurts.
Yeah, it's
But
tough.
when
That
they
one's tough.
signed him from Bayern, I think you agreed with me. I was like, whoa, dude, huge signing. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Perfect for Liverpool. This is insane. This is going to make them so much better. And it really just he never, I don't know, amounted to what I thought he would be there.
yeah. I feel like it was. Looking back on that, it felt like a complimentary signing, right? Like it was the perfect complement to everything they had going, but it wasn't like its own pillar on its own, right? That could sort of stand among other players changing and leaving and getting hurt. So looking back, right, it really was the right player at the right time for that team. But since then he's struggled to really have an impact. So
Yeah.
they need some changes there.
Mm-hmm. Dang. Any other trivia questions?
That's it.
Okay, I didn't have any prepared for you, so you lucked out on that one. I do
All right.
think that we missed a couple of Pulisic mentions earlier for
Oh,
Americans drinking, so cheers to our boy Christian.
grab your Winelands glass, your beer, whatever it is. Take a couple sips.
Where is it? There we go. Outside Lands. Wine Lands. It's a great mug. I use it all the time.
All right. Well, why don't we get into our picks for week 31, and then yeah,
And then we're going to do a little
do you
bonus NBA segment to close it out. Excited.
playoffs are here,
They
baby.
are here. Okay.
All right.
First picks for this week. Can I get 5 exact? Who knows? We shall see.
It's my turn, baby.
I don't think I got an exact before this week. What is that, 30 weeks? I didn't have an exact, and then I got 5 all in the same week.
Nah, you've had
So
exact.
stupid. No, I hadn't. I was complaining about it the whole time. I was like, this is stupid. And I never got
Nah,
it.
dude, you've had plenty of exacts. That was your first bonus exact.
I think it might have been my first exact, I swear.
Dude, I'm checking the stats right now. You got 31.
31
You've got
exacts?
you got 7 more than me.
Wait, you can count exacts on there? Are you sure?
Yeah, go to your leagues tab, and then click our league, and
The
then you'll see the
40s?
3 column total 40s. Yeah, you got 31.
I don't see
Big
that.
balling on us. He's only 2 off the lead.
Well, I guess I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, well,
you're part of the leader pack, man. You show me
well
the way.
now I am. Okay, well now we're gonna double down and we're gonna get 5
All right.
more.
All right,
So
let's see it, baby.
Newcastle on the road at Villa. Villa's on fire. I don't care. I like Newcastle. 2-1 on the road. Let's go.
Same thing, baby.
You did the same thing. Nice. I like it. Okay. This game, I just looked at it and I don't like my answer and I might change it. Chelsea is at home for Brighton. I put 1-1.
Mm.
I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
We keep talking about how Chelsea can't score. I'm dropping it down to 0-1. Brighton with a 1-0 victory. Let's go.
Wow.
Let's go.
Damn.
What do you got?
I'm holding out hope. I'm holding out hope for you, Chelsea. I'm counting on Lampard making changes, throwing something else out there, and it creating some new dynamic that allows some more goals. I went 2-1 Chelsea at home.
He should. He has to. He has to.
Got to. I mean, he's got nothing to lose. Interim manager.
I'm keeping it at Brighton because Brighton is the better team right now. Right now. They're
Yeah.
the better team.
Yeah, right now. Agreed.
So, okay. This one hurts me. It hurts me. Everton at home against Fulham. I picked Everton 1-0.
Damn. I went 1-1.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. It's just Fulham is just struggling right now.
Yeah.
And they don't have Mitrovic back, so that's what I did. What'd you do for Southampton, Crystal Palace?
Well, it's the same. I went 1-1.
Okay.
I think Southampton plays a real tough game at home. Crystal Palace obviously showed they can score without Zaha, but I think it's just going to be one of those just bloodbaths of a game.
I am always a Crystal Palace supporter. Don't ask me why. But I picked Crystal Palace to win 2-1 on the road.
Damn.
Drinking that Kool-Aid.
He loves them.
Okay, Tottenham is hosting Bournemouth at home. Tottenham, tumultuous season. Which is why maybe not why, but despite that, I made this my lock of the week at 3-0 Tottenham at
Oh my
home. This
god,
is.
I made it.
Did you do the same thing?
It's my lock, but I did 2-0.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is a get right game for Tottenham. If you don't win this, you guys are sorry.
this is my lock of the week. Yeah, 2-0.
That's so
I think
funny.
too
Well,
much firepower.
it's a tough week
They should
for
have won the game
locks.
last week. Yeah.
Tough week for locks. So yeah,
Yeah.
I feel confident with this one.
I feel that.
Okay, Wolves are hosting Brentford. Again, this hurts me because I love Wolves. I hate Podence. I love Wolves. I picked Brentford to win 2-0.
I went 2-1 Brentford.
Okay. Same. Okay.
Yeah.
Man City at home for Leicester. I did 3-0 Man City. This probably should have
Same.
been my lock. I don't know why I didn't do it.
I was thinking the same thing. I don't know. Something about me scares me about Leicester scoring a goal. Like, I could see it being 3-1,
Yeah, for sure.
Just as easily as 3-0. So that's why I chose not to make it my lock. But yeah, easy win for Man
I
City.
clearly
at
thought
home.
the same thing, so yeah. Agreed. Okay, the Sunday matches. We have West Ham at home against Arsenal. This is a big one for both teams.
London
But
Derby, yeah.
I just don't think West Ham has enough firepower, so I went Arsenal 3-1 on the. I picked a lot of road dogs this week.
I went Arsenal winning too. I went 2-1 on the road.
Okay, so you're on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you do for Nottingham Forest hosting
I
Manchester
went
United?
Man U 2-0.
Same. I
Yeah.
got the same thing. And then the Monday game, Team America at home, Liverpool. What'd you do?
Ooh. I went with the Liverpool starting to put it together. Even though Leeds is at home, I went Liverpool 3-1.
Okay, you gave them a pity goal. I did
did.
Liverpool 3-0. I just
damn,
think
okay.
Leeds' defense is so bad. Like, I don't see a world where Liverpool doesn't score 3 goals. Like, maybe Leeds gets 1 because
Yeah.
Liverpool's been letting in goals all over the place.
I mean, I am gonna pray for one of these like 4-3 games.
Oh,
It'd
that'd be so awesome. Yeah, it would be
That
so
would be
awesome.
amazing.
So yeah, I'll definitely be watching that one, but I don't think Leeds is going to be able to pull this one out. They just don't have the firepower. They don't.
Yeah, they don't. It's tough.
Yeah.
All right, so we did our picks. We do need to pick our prop bets from that list of games. So I'll give you real quick the run through. I think, did you get first pick last week or was it me?
I don't remember. You want to
Don't remember. I'll flip a coin.
you want to do a trivia question for it? Because I
Oh yeah, let's do that.
okay.
You got one lined up?
No, I don't. I'm just looking at the standings, and I think I can pull one from this because
Okay.
I think this is funny.
All right. Well, while you're thinking of it, I'll read through the potential dogs that we could choose. Aston Villa, a dog at home against Newcastle.
No, I
Fulham
don't like it.
on the road, a dog at Everton. Bournemouth on the road at Tottenham, underdog.
Really? So Everton's favored in that match? Sorry, they're favored.
Everton's at basically even odds.
Oh wow!
And
So
Fulham's at
Vegas
plus-
is on the
at
same
plus
page as me,
265.
or I'm on the same
Yeah.
page as Vegas. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, you really are. What else we got here? Said Bournemouth already. Leicester, obviously big dog to Man City. West Ham, a huge dog to Arsenal. Nottingham, huge dog to United. Leeds, huge dog to Liverpool. So the only ones kind of remotely close, we've got that Everton Fulham is probably the best pick to go for. Maybe Aston Villa United. So hit me with the trivia.
Okay. So we were talking about the movement in the table.
Yeah.
Right now, The top 6 is Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, Man United, Tottenham, Aston Villa. This isn't a trivia question yet, but Man City has the best goal differential of the league with 48. They're a plus 48. Aston Villa is sixth in the table. They have a +1 goal differential. Who has the best goal differential outside of the top 6?
Oh. Which team? I'm gonna think it's. Well, name the top 6 again. Sorry.
Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, United, Tottenham, Villa. That's your top 6. You nailed it. That's a drink for me, but it's close.
Is it close?
So they're a plus 16. Liverpool plus 15, right behind them.
Oh, damn! Yeah,
yeah.
And they're actually ahead of Tottenham and Man United.
Exactly. Man United is only a plus 7. Very surprising. They're 4th in the league, and they're a plus 7.
Brighton scored 8 more goals than Man U on the season.
Yeah, Brighton's a force.
Wow. Yeah.
Really interesting. And then you have Brentford at plus 7 at 9th in the table. Fulham, they were doing so well. It's a bummer to see them slipping like this, but they're still at -1, which is so much better than the other teams below them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting.
All right, so I won the honor of first prop bet, and I am going to go with... Oh, man. I'm going to go with the... Oh, man. I'm going to do Fulham on the road at Everton.
Fulham on the road at Everton? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, remind me what the other dogs were. I remember not liking them.
Got Aston Villa at home against Newcastle as a dog.
Yeah, I picked Newcastle to win in my picks, so I don't think they're going to
go against that. What else? So we've got, I picked that one. Bournemouth on the road at Tottenham, huge underdog. Leicester on the road at Man City, huge underdog.
No.
West Ham hosting Arsenal, huge underdog. Nottingham hosting Man U, huge underdog. And Leeds hosting Liverpool. So those last 3 are kind of like tough ones to pick.
Those are brutal. Yeah, I got to go Villa. That's my best chance. Yeah. It's my best chance.
Best chance there. Oops.
Yeah, tough week for underdogs. This might not be an exciting week. Maybe one of those gets one that we don't see coming, but it's a tough one.
Yeah, but it's one of those weeks where, like, if underdog does win, they have crazy odds, right? Where it's like they're going to be a plus, 500 or plus 600 or something.
Yeah.
So, exciting stuff. All right, well, that's
Premier League wrapped up. Talk. Let's go. That is it. Let's get into our NBA playoffs, baby.
Oh, man.
I'm so pumped for the NBA playoffs. It's the first time in a long time that I can remember the NBA being so wide open for a championship. The NBA is one of those sports where, like, you kind of know the top 3 teams from the beginning of the season even. And you're like, one of these 3 teams is going to win it. And everything else is just kind of for fun or whatever. This year, especially in the West, it's fucking wild. Wild. So awesome. If you look at Vegas, the top 3 teams aren't even the best odds to win the championship. It's so weird. It's so weird. The Warriors have better odds. The Suns have better odds. Who was the other one? Memphis is out of it. Denver's kind of in there. They kind of believe in Denver, but it's crazy. So we did a bracket, like NCAA tournament bracket style picks for the NBA playoffs, and it's really funny because it's me, you, our buddy Blake, our buddy Taylor, and we're all picking our favorite teams. Taylor actually went chalk and picked the Bucks, which is smart. But you went Warriors, I went Celtics,
Duh.
Blake went Lakers. But who did you pick coming out of the East? I'm curious.
I think I went Bucks. Let me check. I'll check my bracket now. But
I think
I
that's a
went
smart
Celtics,
pick.
Bucks.
Yeah.
Celtics Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think I picked Bucks. That's a little bit chalk, I think, but
I think it's the right pick.
Trying,
It's the
I
right
wasn't
pick.
trying to just go chalk. I literally just looked at each matchup and I was like, who do I think's gonna win? I wasn't even looking at the seeds really, and I feel like
Okay, I pulled
Bucks
yours
edge it.
up. Yeah, you picked Bucks. You picked Bucks, Celtics. Yeah, you went exact chalk,
Okay.
which I agree with. I picked the Celtics over the Bucks because I'm a Celtics fan, and my heart says Celtics. My head says Bucks. So your West bracket. Okay, you went. Okay, our West bracket is very similar. You went Suns over Nuggets, Warriors over Grizzlies, but then you picked the Warriors over the Suns. What did I do?
Yeah.
I picked the Suns over the Warriors. So I did the same thing, but I did Suns over Warriors.
But opposite. Okay.
Yeah.
So did you have the Grizzlies over Lakers?
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck the Lakers.
Of course. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
All
they're
right.
garbage. They're garbage. Hot garbage.
I know. I just got to say, you already talked on it, but I'm so excited. So obviously, it's always tough being like a fan of a team and like a hardcore fan of a team, and being like feeling that uncomfortableness of like, I feel like anybody could win or we could lose to anybody, But if you take a step back and look at it from, just a neutral observer, this has got to be the best playoff setup I've seen in like 10 years at least.
No
going
doubt.
into the playoffs.
I can't remember
It's
a better
so awesome.
one.
I want to watch every game of every series. Like,
So
at least in the West, it's going to be so exciting.
the West is so sick. I do think it sucks because Randall is. I don't think Randall's 100%, but that Cavs Knicks matchup
It's going to be a good series too.
is going to be really sick. I just hope Randall's going to be able to be Randall, and he sprained his ankle, and I don't think he's 100%. So that's a bummer. Outside of that, I think the East is. There's no way the Bucks, Sixers, or Celtics lose in the first round. There's no fucking way. But the West, anybody can win any of the rounds. Even the 1-8 is like, it's going to be the Nuggets or the T-Wolves against the T-Wolves or the Thunder. The Thunder are a dangerous fucking team, dude. Did you watch the Pelicans game? Did you watch the Pelicans game?
Dude, Josh Giddey, man. Josh Giddey is the man.
He's the man, but he's Robin to fucking SGA's Batman, dude. SGA's so insane. Fucking good. It's insane. And he's like sneaky tall too. You don't realize it because he's always kind of like low dribbler. He's a low dribbler, but if you watch him, he's like 6'8". He's tall. He's tall. When you see him walk next to other guys, he's a tall motherfucker. I'm telling you, man, he is awesome. He's like Paul George, but without the 3-point shot.
Yeah, he's 6'6".
Tougher.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, he's taller than that. Like
6'7". Yeah.
If you watch him, like just watch him walk across, you're like, holy fuck, he's as tall as that guy. And Giddey's the same way. Giddey's fucking huge.
Yeah. He's big, man. Yeah.
I don't know what they list him at, but he's a big dude too, and they're both playing guard.
That team is stacked for years to come. I think they have, what do they have? They have something like 12 first-round picks, like over the next 2 or 3 years, or something crazy. It's something just ridiculous that they have. They've got Chet coming back.
Yeah,
they're loaded, man.
What do they list Josh Giddey at? 6'8".
What? No way.
He's taller than 6'8", man. I'm telling you. Well, he's only 20, so he's probably growing still.
Dude, 6'8" point guard. No, but even just think about that. Even if he's only 6'8", that's so massive.
He's not even.
Jalen Williams is a boss.
Ew, he's a boss. He's not a slight 6'8". He's like a solid
Yeah.
6'8".
Yeah, and he's like chunky. He's not like lanky. Like
Yeah,
he's got some beef to him.
exactly. That team
Uh,
is not to be fucked with. And dude, it's gonna be so fun. The Kings Warriors. All right, so I picked the Warriors to win, but that Kings team is really, really good, and I genuinely think this is gonna go minimum 6. Minimum. This isn't gonna be easy for the Warriors. They're gonna have to play hard. They're gonna have to play really good on offense because the Kings are gonna score on the Warriors. Sabonis is gonna be a problem for Draymond Green.
yeah, seriously.
But I do
Oh my
think
God,
the
yes.
Warriors come on top.
The Thunder have 6 first-round picks over the next 2 years.
Dude,
And
and they
4
have
second
their whole
and
team
four-
is full
four
of first
second-round
round picks. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's wild, man.
It's crazy.
That's nuts.
I hope they so they play tomorrow. They play the T-Wolves.
Okay.
And honestly, they could win that because
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert will be back, but what's his
This
face?
isn't the team for him to play against. It's like,
Anthony Edwards is hurt. He's playing banged up, and
Yeah.
he's not quite himself. And I feel like they could win that game too. They're just a fun team.
They
I hope
could.
they make it. I hope they make it in.
I don't know, I'd love to see him play the Nuggets. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
Uh,
I think the Lakers Grizzlies is going to be a lot of fun too.
So yeah, real quick before we go on the NBA topic. So if I just curious to get your take, and then I'll share mine on the potential path that your team has. So for those that don't know, Mr. Austin Whitty is
Big C's, baby.
an enormous C's fan. Celtics in the East. So they're
Yeah, and they'll
facing
be
off
like-
first against
Sorry,
the
go ahead.
Hawks. And then they'll play the winner of the Sixers Nets series before taking on the other side of the conference. So how are you feeling right now about where things stack up? Who you're playing? Who's in the road ahead of you?
So, yeah. I'm a big Celtics fan. But you're like, hey, Austin, I thought you were from San Diego. What the fuck? That's weird. Why aren't you a
Thought
Lakers
you were
fan?
Dago, bro.
Here's why. My dad is from Rhode Island. My mom is kind of a nomad, but she met my dad in Rhode Island. I grew up on Larry Bird VHS tapes, documentaries, and my dad is a huge basketball fan. He doesn't care about the Patriots. He doesn't care about the Red Sox. He really only cares about basketball. Basketball was huge in my house growing up, and it was all Celtics, always Celtics. So I was a little too young for those 80s Celtics teams, but like I said, we had VHS tapes. I watched a lot of that stuff, and I am a big Celtics fan because of it. And the Lakers are just bitches at all time. Blake, I'm sorry. It's just, you guys are bitches. Always. Always. You never have a cool team. Maybe the Shaq Kobe years, okay. But you still had, like, Derek Fisher on that team. Twat. You had fucking Robert Horry. That's the only one I will condone. Fucking love Robert Horry. But in San Diego, we don't like LA. LA is our rival. The Padres don't like the Dodgers, clearly.
Yeah.
So I never was a Laker fan, always a Celtics fan. Getting back to your question, do I think the Hawks are going to cause a problem for the Celtics? No fucking way. Hawks are garbage. Trae Young, bitch. And we have a lot of guys to throw at them. I do think they have a lot of, like, they're kind of like the England international team where they have a lot of talent, but they're all like B-level talent, B-plus level talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they have Trae Young, who thinks he's an A-plus, but he's really like a B-minus. And I think we're just going to roll over the Hawks. Where I think we're going to have problems is the 76ers in the next round. Because Joel Embiid is a boss. And yes, we've had success against the Sixers in the past, but this 76ers team is different than the 76ers teams we've beat in the past. There's no Ben Simmons anymore. It's James Harden, who's fat and slow now, but still pretty good. And they have a lot of good players, dude. Maxi's a good player. What's his face? Who's the small forward for him? Overpaid guy. You always forget his name.
Oh, Tobias.
Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is overpaid, but he's also like their fourth best player. So when he's your fourth best player, you're doing pretty well. I think they're going to be a problem. We got to be healthy. Rob Williams has to be healthy. That's going to be a tough one. And then the Bucks are going to be real tough. If Middleton's out, then I think we can win, just like we did last year. But if Middleton's healthy, it's going to be tough. I picked the Celtics to come out of the East, but that was because I like them. I think if I was picking with my brain, it would be the Bucks coming out because I think they're the best team.
Yeah. All right. I think fair analysis. I love the passion that you got into there about about your upbringing.
Big passion.
Brings a tear to my eye to hear the passion. I love it.
I will say I'm not even pandering to you, but my West Coast team is 100% Warriors. 100%. It goes all the way back to the Run 3MC.
Oh, let's go, baby.
So yeah, let's hear your path for the Warriors.
Okay, so yeah, I'm a Warriors fan. We had many dark years in my upbringing. At my very young age, they were still, as you're talking about, the Run 3MC days. Pretty awesome, but we went through a really bad stretch. The Antoine Jameson years. The Michael Pietrus years, the Andres Biedrins years, the Bobby Surrey years. There was a lot of dark years that we went through. So it's been a great last, at this point now, 10 years it's been since we really started, showing a name for ourselves, coming up into playoff contention. However, we're in a very interesting position this year. So I don't know the last time we were a 6 seed or lower. Obviously, I'm not going to count the play-in year, which was also total bullshit. But being in the 6 seed, I feel both excited and then also uncomfortable at the same time. As we talked about already, the West is completely wide open. And I feel both excited and just unbelievably nervous for anybody that I would play in this side. I really hope we can get through the Kings because I would love to play the Grizzlies. That would just be one of the most epic series ever. And if somehow we got through that and ended up playing the Suns in the conference finals, would also be just like things are lining up to potentially be some of the most epic playoff series of all time that could happen in the West here. So I'm like giddy with energy, both nervous energy and like excited energy. And I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. It's pretty sick that we got a little NorCal derby going on. I think it's the first time they're meeting in the playoffs. Shout out soccer terms. I think I'm not going to be surprised to see Sacramento flooded with Warriors fans, so I'm hopeful game one that we've got a strong contingent out there. Yeah, I don't know. I can't wait for it to start, man. I'm super stoked. Like I said, to watch all the games, not just my team's games, but every game. It's going to be really fun.
No doubt. And specifically for the Warriors, they have an amazing path from like a narrative standpoint. First round, you said it. They're playing Sacramento. What is that? Like a 20-minute drive from San Francisco or Oakland? Like this is a matchup that I don't think I've ever seen. Neither of these teams have been good at the same time before. So that's going to be really cool to watch. And then next round, as you mentioned, the Grizzlies, There's so much beef between the Grizzlies and the Warriors. They hate each other. The Grizzlies talk
Hate
so
each
much
other.
shit
I
on the
hate the
Warriors.
Grizzlies.
Exactly.
Hate
So
the
then you have
Grizzlies.
that matchup. And then if you get past that, potentially you have the Suns with the Kevin Durant storyline,
Kevin Durant.
who was on the team and left. Now you're playing against him. It's like, oh my God, these storylines just line up round after round after round. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
So
wild, man.
there is a high possibility that all three of those things happen. And it would
Yeah.
be so fun every single round.
And I want to be confident. Like, I see the path for us doing this, right? Like a normal 6 seed, they would just be smoking crack to think, oh yeah, I see the path. We're gonna do that.
Yeah.
But this is a different team, obviously, not a real 6 seed team. But the one thing that's like tempering my excitement and keeping me concerned is the Andrew Wiggins factor. Is he gonna be who we need him to be, having not played a single regular season game to end the season, coming back in a playoff game for his first game? It just makes me feel very, very nervous. And I feel like that is really what's going to swing it. If he plays how he played last playoffs, yes, we could be in the finals again. I see the path. If he doesn't, it's going to be a lot tougher. So yeah, I'm very fingers crossed right now that he comes back, 80 to 90% of what he was when he was at his best.
Well, I think what's in your favor is that he's not coming back from injury. So
Yeah,
in
true.
theory, he should be 100% healthy, 100% rested, but he's probably going to be a little bit rusty. His shot's probably going to be a little bit off. But I don't think you need him in the first round to be
Yeah, no, good point. Good point.
100%. So I think if he just kind of gets his shot together, like I said, he's going to probably be a little out of shape. Maybe his shot's going to be a little rusty. But I think you can get through that first round, and he's going to be just fine in the next round. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
it's good.
I think
Good
it's
way
okay.
to frame it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you compare. It's just funny to think about. Like, so the Warriors as a 6 seed go over to the other conference and look at who the 6 seed is there.
Oh
and
yeah,
be like,
the Nets playing the
do you
76ers, they
think
have no
Do you
shot.
think they're gonna go do something? You know what I'm saying? It's a pretty funny dynamic. The way
It'll
things
probably be a
lined up.
gentleman's sweep and be like 4-1 Sixers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I know, it's crazy. That's why it's so exciting, because the NBA playoffs usually isn't like this. Never
no,
like
it
this. I
usually
don't remember
is like
it
it's
ever
usually
being
like
like
what you
this.
just said. Yeah,
Yeah. The East is going to be pretty chalk, I think. Barring like some crazy injury or something, it's going to be chalk. But the West, oh man. And Blake took the Lakers to win it. I mean, there's a path for the Lakers because the Grizzlies aren't 100%. They're missing Steven Adams. They're missing Brandon Clark. They're missing their two centers. So they just have Triple J basically. And
you can hope for a bloodbath on the other side of the bracket. Nuggets, Suns, Clippers. Like
yeah.
whoever comes out of that's too tired to play you in the conference. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
then if they meet the Warriors in the next round or the Kings, where the one thing that the Lakers have going for them is that they're really big. They have size,
big size.
and those two teams don't. So
Yeah.
like that could be their angle. But after watching them play the T-Wolves, did you watch that play-in game with the T-Wolves?
yeah, I'll watch the highlights. Yeah,
It was a brutal game to watch. It was rough, to say the least. It was just so bad. And they clearly looked like the 7th and 8th team in the West. I just don't see either of those teams winning a round in a 7-game series.
yeah. I mean, I think we both went Grizzlies in that series. I think. Yeah, nothing. The names on the paper might strike some fear, but seeing the team play, I don't see them winning 4 games out of 7 against them. Even being down somebody like Steven Adams. So
I don't see John Morant scoring less than 30 points every single game. There's no way.
who's going to stop him? Who's
Nobody.
Yeah.
So yeah, stoked
I
for the
can't
NBA
wait for
playoffs.
some of these Warriors Kings games. Scores
I
are
know,
gonna be
dude.
off the chart.
I'm gonna watch every single one. Every single one. I can't wait. So
It's gonna be
excited.
wild.
I know what a time to be alive. We got all this awesome soccer and then an exciting NBA
Oh my
playoffs.
god.
I
I
can't
know.
wait. It's sick.
It really is the best time of the year.
It's so sick.
Awesome.
All right. Anything else you want to touch
All right.
on, or should we sign it off?
Well, let's sign off there. It was fun doing a brief segue away from soccer.
Yeah, I
We'll have
like
to
that.
check in a few weeks on how we're feeling about playoffs. We'll see.
For sure. And
So,
if anyone
hopefully we're
has
both still
made
as
it
excited.
if anyone has made it this far into the podcast, 1 hour and 40 minutes in, then you probably want to listen to the next one, which will be, we usually do these Thursday nights. So we post them Thursday night, Friday morning. So we do this weekly with an occasional add-on episode. And you can also check us out on the YouTubes at YouTube/Ballon And yeah, we're going to keep this rolling. And we'll probably get a starting 11 going soon as well. So
Yeah.
the season's over, Torin, in what, 8 weeks?
What are we gonna do with ourselves, man?
A lot of starting 11s.
A lot of starting 11s.
Yeah, and then who knows what else? We'll come up with some additional stuff.
Off season's gonna be a tough, rough time.
Yeah, we got a couple of months to figure it out.
We'll wait ourselves through it. So.
Yeah, we'll find a way. Women's World Cup. Women's World Cup's coming.
Oh, through that.
Here we go.
Yeah, dude, it doesn't stop.
No,
it doesn't stop.
No, I'm stoked for the Women's World Cup.
Yeah.
Should be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Fun one.
All right.
All right, everyone.
Cheers out there. Thank you.
See you next week.
Cheers, Torn.